Our movie begins with a little girl trapped inside a wall with cement falling on her from all sides. The girl screams and pushes while living inside the cement and becomes part of the wall. After 15 years, there is a graduation party for the engineer Sam from university. Her father owns a demolition company, and his gift to her is to be the supervisor of the demolition of a huge building in an unknown location. This will be her first demolition operation after graduation. If she proves her worth, her father will let her manage his company. This building is very huge, and its design is unique and different from any other building. It is an architectural masterpiece that includes many residential apartments in the same building in an unknown location. The building was built under the supervision of the engineer Mali Straza, who is obsessed with the architectural civilization of the ancient Egyptians. One day, Sam arrives at the building and is welcomed by Mary, the owner of the building, who lives there with her only son, Jimmy. Sam tells her that she will stay in one of the apartment buildings. So, Jimmy took her bag and explained to her the rules and regulations of the building and told her to stay away from the 8th floor and the roof because it would be dangerous for someone to be there. On Sam's way to the apartment, she noticed a room door with the name Julie written on it in a child's handwriting. She entered her room and took a bath in the bathtub. After that, she met Mary and asked about the number of residents in the building. She told her that there were only 4 living here and that she and her son were among the 4, and that they were in the building to take care of it until the day of its demolition. She said that all the apartments had been evacuated except for 2 who refused to leave. The next day, Sam began analyzing and inspecting the building. It was Sam's responsibility to know the number of dynamite needed to demolish the building and also to determine the best location for each dynamite for the best demolition efficiency. He left her to go to a store to buy food and drinks, and there to a computer dealer to search the internet about the history of the building. She learned that in 1993 there were cases of loss and the disappearance of many people, and when they found them, they found that there were 16 of them, including children, men and women, who were trapped between the walls and the columns, and cement was poured on them while they were alive. One of the victims was the engineer from Straza himself, and one of the construction workers was accused in the kidnapping and murder case, but his innocence was proven after a while, and the case remained open and unknown from that time. After that, Sam returned to the building again and continued her work. But suddenly, a man entered carrying a large axe, and he was angry. And it turned out that he was one of the residents who refused to leave the building, and he was upset about the demolition decision. At night, Jimmy took Sam to the 8th floor behind his mother and told her about the story of the architect from Straza, who died inside one of the building's walls. He entered a room and cleaned the wall where they found Straza's body, and that when they found the body, Straza's face was not visible because of the cement, and that Mary was the one who she knew, that she knew the identity of the body, and he also told her that one of the 16 victims was a child named Julie, and Jim told her that his father was one of the 16 victims, and he demolished the wall where they found his father's body, and suddenly the light goes out, and Sam gets scared and runs in the dark, and falls on the ground, and her leg hurts and starts bleeding. And then Jimmy treats Sam's wound, but he starts moving his hand on her leg, and it becomes clear that Jimmy admires Sam. But Sam tells him to stop what he is doing, and at night Sam is in front of a mirror, looking at herself. But suddenly she finds the mirror moving and shaking in a strange way. So she picks her up from the wall and finds blood coming out of the hole the mirror is hanging from. And suddenly Sam is pulled inside the wall and loses consciousness, and when she wakes up she finds herself trapped inside, and then cement falls on her from all sides, and she screams and no one hears her until she is completely covered with cement. But all of this turns out to be a nightmare. She wakes up terrified, not knowing how to sleep again. She wishes at night in the apartment, and suddenly she's frightened and finds someone in front of her, but it turns out to be her lover Peter, who brought her roses as a surprise. After that, she takes her lover Sam on a tour around the building. They go up to the 8th floor and find a secret passageway under the floor. She removes Sam and finds secret rooms that allow anyone inside to spy on any apartment in the building. She tells him that Jimmy was spying on her while she was bathing in the bathtub. She complains to her about her son and tells her what happened. Jimmy feels embarrassed and walks away from the place they are in. At night, Peter tells Sam that he thinks she should leave the building tomorrow because her presence in it is dangerous to herself. Sam agrees with him and they spend the night together. Jimmy gets jealous of them, and the next day, Sam prepares a bag of clothes to leave. She writes a report on the amount of explosives needed to demolish the building, and before she leaves, Jimmy appears and apologizes for what he did to her and gives her a gift, which is the architectural plan for the building, which Melest Raza drew himself. Sam looks at the plan and learns that there is a large open space in the center of the building. Then Jim goes to the roof of the building to find an entrance to the secret hole, but he does not return from there. Sam and her lover, Peter, go out to look for it, and there is a huge hole in the center of the building, as the plan shows. He hears Jimmy's voice coming from the hole, saying that he was injured. Sam asks Peter to grab a long rope and lowers her with it to bring Jimmy and save him. At first, there is no problem, and Sam goes down with the rope safely, but suddenly someone appears and hits Peter with an iron rod, killing him. Peter is tied to the rope from above, and he is bleeding on Sam, who was carrying her. Sam is startled and falls from the rope into the hole and loses consciousness. After that, Sam wakes up at the bottom of the hole, but she is not alone, and with her is a strange man, and it turns out that he is the engineer Melset Raza, who thought he was dead, and it turns out that he was locked in the hole all this time, and he has a cassette player with a tape recording of Jimmy's voice screaming and saying that he was injured, and it turns out that Jimmy planned all of this, and he throws a message to her from above the hole, and it is written in it that Jimmy will make Sam live under it forever until she learns that she falls in love with him, and after that, Jimmy goes to the post office and sends the report that Sam wrote about the explosives to her father, and Jimmy drops her car in the lake. And he does all of this to make it appear that Sam did not return to her home and that she is on vacation with her lover, Peter. And in the opening, Melset Raza talks to Sam and says, "No," on a shocking discovery, and that he was the one behind the kidnapping and killing of the Steen people who were found buried in the walls recently and sold for money. The secret of the pharaohs in the existence of their buildings until this time is that they practiced rituals during the construction time, and they bury people alive in the walls of buildings. But Straza wanted his building to stand forever and not collapse, so he decided to do what the pharaohs did and bury people alive in the walls. It was revealed that one of the victims was Mary's husband. When Mary found out, she took revenge on Astra's money and locked him in the hole for all these years. Mary deceived those who found her husband's body and said that it was Astra's body so that she could keep Astra's money for herself and take revenge on him by locking him up forever. After a while, Jimmy comes back and puts a cassette tape in the hole. Astra's money plays the tape in the cassette player, and Bella finds that Jimmy is telling them to dance together while he watches them from above. Astra's money tells Sam that they should listen to Jimmy and tells her that Jimmy is a nice person, but when he gets angry, he can be sadistic and evil and can be very tough. Sam agrees and dances out of fear of Jimmy. Jimmy asks her to kiss each other, and Sam prefers that she does so, but Straza. He pulls her and makes her kiss him happily, and after seconds, Jim orders them to stop and threatens Malstraza not to touch Sam again, and Becca convinces Jimmy that they listen to him. He brings them food and drink and gives them a wireless device for Sam and tells her to communicate with him through it. At night, Mary goes to the roof, so Sam becomes Mary and begs Mary to help her and philosophizes. She gives Jimmy a hard time and tells him that she left this place for herself, but not for anyone else. She thinks that she will remain a prisoner with him, because if she gets out, she can report what is happening to the police, and thus Mary will be imprisoned, and Jimmy will be an orphan, without a father or mother. The next day, Sam's father and the demolition team arrive at the building after receiving Sam's report. They enter the apartments and dismantle the explosives. At the same time, Sam is imprisoned with Malstraza, and she keeps trying to make Jimmy laugh and say seductive words to him to get her out and save her from the bombing. But her acting is useless, and she gets tired. And the radio breaks until he tells her that it is not Astra's to save her energy and calm down and burns. It was designed a long time ago in pipes connected to cement tanks, and he remains believing that the demolition team will not be able to blow up the building if there is another buried alive in the building. So he decides to sacrifice himself to save the building from destruction and asks Sam to kill him and keeps annoying her with words until she actually kills him. So he thanks her while he dies and sinks into the cement in his grave. Outside the building, Mary and Jimmy remain with the demolition team, and Bast is about to activate the explosives. And when the countdown for the explosion begins, Jimmy changes his mind and screams and calls for Sam and runs and enters the building. In it, Sammy's father stops the countdown and goes after Jimmy until they reach the roof. So the father remains at the opening and asks Jimmy what they did to make all this happen to them. Jimmy does not speak and throws himself in the opening, and Bennett is free next to Sam, who lost consciousness. After that, the team pulls Sam out of the opening, and he takes her to the hospital, and Mary is cut off by accusing Mal Astaraz of kidnapping her. In the end, Sam says that Mal Astaraz built 27 buildings, and that all of them are still standing and have not been destroyed yet. He considers the building that Sam's father was going to blow up as his artistic masterpiece and does not want it to be demolished. He also sacrificed his life to save the building. As a kind of respect and appreciation for Mal Astaraz's efforts, he issues a decision not to demolish his buildings, considering them a type of terrace. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Movie Story for more amazing movie recaps. Let us know in the comments which movie you'd like us to cover next. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.